right. Mic check.
And the investigation's still ongoing.
Mic check. Mic check. Welcome everybody.
Welcome everybody.
I'm so glad that I see so many familiar and unfamiliar faces.
I'm so glad that I see so many familiar and unfamiliar faces.
Here to remember the life of a very good friend.
Here to remember the life of a very good friend.
I'd like everyone to remember. And to be extremely conscientious. That this is a time for remembering. And celebrating. And sharing. And healing. There will be a time for strategizing. And talking about the future later. This is not the time for that. So I would invite anyone who wants to share any stories or anything they want about our friend Josh.
Thank you.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
I'm wondering.
But I still love him.
Things will never be the same in this encampment.
Things will never be the same encampment.
What I saw yesterday was definitely irrational. However, he's still human. And he's a man. Who has a life. Who had a life. And we need to take into consideration what he went through. What brought him to what he did. Thank you.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Check.
Josh, on the morning of his passing away, was at the food booth telling about five of us. If you can imagine this, about growing up in northern Vermont. Next to the yogurt we were eating. And he told all about the permaculture and the buildings and the good life he had. Josh was handsome, strong, and a serious warrior vet. He was completely rational and collected on the morning. So people can think what they want. But I think he was a martyr.
Mic check. My name's Chris. Josh was my roommate. At rehab. He was a strong man. Liked to smoke his pipe. He had demons. And the demons overtook him. And I'm sorry to hear about it. He will be missed. But he was a good man.
Thank you.
My name is Dave. I work with Veterans for Peace and Disabled American Veterans. Many years ago, we recognized the phenomenon of post-traumatic stress. When the American College of Psychiatry said it was left-wing political psychobabble.
What is psychobabble?
I work with Jim Jeffords. We passed the bill for PTSD. But outreach is never sufficient. We try, we just can't reach all these guys.
We tried, we just can't reach all these guys.
We've got vet centers.
We've got vet centers.
We've got disabled American veterans.
We've got disabled American veterans.
But we can't always get people to send us Joshes.
But we can't always get people to send us Joshes.
We try to help them as individuals.
We try to help them as individuals.
The government doesn't care.
The government doesn't care.
I was at a ceremony at UVM this morning.
I was at a ceremony at UVM this morning.
We read the names of the dead from these recent wars.
We read the names of the dead from these recent wars.
They put a flag for each one all over in front of the library.
They put a flag for each one all over the front of the library.
And I knew for every flag they needed another flag.
And I knew for every flag they needed another flag.
Because the ugly truth is,
Because the ugly truth is,
for every soldier that dies in combat,
for every soldier that dies in combat,
another commits suicide
another commits suicide
or dies in a single car accident.
or dies in a single car accident.
This is all fallout
This is all fallout
from the American Empire,
from the American Empire,
fought for and maintained
fought for and maintained
by working class youth
by working class youth
to enrich the 1%.
to enrich the 1%.
We're here
We're here
to speak for Josh,
to speak for Josh,
to speak for the immigrant,
to speak for the immigrant,
to speak with a woman with a house full of kids.
speak with a woman, house full of kids,
No heat this winter.
no heat this winter.
We're here to put an end to it.
We're here to put an end to it.
We're here for Josh. We're here for all the Joshes.
We're here for Josh. We're here for all the Joshes.
Mic check.
Mic check.
I'm back again.
Back again.
I just wanted to share my experiences with Josh.
I just wanted to share my experience with Josh.
I only knew Josh for the 2 weeks that camp has been set up,
I only knew Josh for the 2 weeks that camp was set up,
but I consider him part of my family now,
but I consider him part of my family now,
as I do everyone who lives in the park.
as I do everyone who lives in the park.
Josh was hilarious.
Josh was hilarious.
I only interacted with
I only
him
interacted with him
between the hours of 12 and 3 a.m. most nights.
between the hours of 12 and 3 a.m. most nights.
But while I was doing my safety shifts,
While I was doing my safety shift,
he provided endless comic relief.
he provided endless comic relief,
And I am gonna miss him
and I am gonna miss him
a lot.
a lot.
My check.
Mic check.
My daughter committed suicide.
My daughter committed suicide.
And people said, what a shame.
And people said, what a shame.
And I said, no. Her life was a shame. Her life was a shame.
Her life was a shame.
And she found a way out.
And she found a way out.
And I respect him
And I respect him
for what he did.
for what he did.
And I think he was brave.
And I think he was brave.
And yesterday when I came here,
And yesterday when I came here,
I said, I don't know if I'll ever return, and I'm going home.
I said, I don't know if I'll ever return, and I'm
going home.
And a few hours later, I suddenly felt a rush, a warm rush through my body.
I suddenly felt a warm rush through my body.
And I was exhilarated.
And I was exhilarated.
And I knew it was about Josh.
And I knew it was about Josh.
And I'm proud of him.
And I'm proud of him.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mic check.
mic check.
For me,
For me,
Josh is not a martyr.
Josh was not a martyr.
His decisions were his own.
His decisions were his own.
He was an individual.
He was an individual.
He was our brother.
He was our brother.
He was our friend.
He was our friend.
He was someone that some of us didn't even know.
He was someone that some of us didn't even know.
But he is part of us now.
But he is part of us now.
And I would like to remember him
And I would like to remember him
as a human,
as a human,
as a person
as a person
who made us laugh, who lived with us. And I would like to remind us that we called for help. That we have been asking Burlington. And Vermont. For help throughout this occupation. And our call has not been heeded. And we wanted to provide food. And shelter and warmth. To everyone. What happened yesterday? Was a tragedy. I want this to never happen again. Because Josh was our brother. And because everyone here. Is my brother and sister. And I don't want to see any of this. Ever again.
Mic check. About a week ago, I saw Josh on Church Street.
I
asked him to come to my tent. I welcomed him as a friend and family member. I promised him he'd have a safe place to stay. We provided him with friendship and playfulness. He came to my tent. He stayed for a week. As his friends, we made sure that he had a good time. If Josh had a need, we would provide. On the day of his birthday, he had the best birthday he ever had. And laughed harder than he ever laughed. I, as his friend, who was there for the sacrifice, along with the man to my left, Nicholas, along with my friend Kenny, who may or may not be present, but for all of us, he has changed our lives, and made us stronger men. Amen.
I brought a cup of coffee for Josh. He should have drank more coffee and less alcohol.
Oh, come on. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. You needed more alcohol, not coffee.
Mic check.
I brought this candle here today to honor the memory of Josh. And somewhere along the way, two flames are burning in this candle. The light of Josh will never go out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right on, awesome. Mic check. I am Brother Francis. And I am here to relate to you. A story about another passing. The passing of the person that we are gathered here today. According to a rabbi, Maxwell, who was in this city for many years. He was telling the community what a passing was all about. And what he said, it was to create community. Josh has done that. He has brought us together. And that is why he is passed. We should look and celebrate his life. And plan accordingly. Amen.
Thank you.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.